Alright, what's going on guys? Fortminer back at it again in here for you guys for my Raw thoughts / review, and in here talking about, of course, Raw from last night, and one of the final Raws before WrestleMania. Of course, next week being the final Raw for WrestleMania, and with this part of the Raw for WrestleMania, we didn't really get to see any, huge surprises or anything like that. Just more build up going into WrestleMania and the final build up before the pay-per-view. And yeah, it was a pretty good show. Like I said, not really in the way of surprises, stars coming back from the past or stuff like that. So we didn't really get to see that. Just more into the more build up and the final build, like I said before, into WrestleMania. So with that being said, let's get right into the thoughts / review. Alright, to kick things off with Raw, we did kick it off with the game Triple H basically cutting a promo and challenging the Undertaker to come out to Raw next week and have a face-to-face confrontation before their matchup at WrestleMania, and also talking about how long he's been here in the WWE, and he's been wanting to try and take out the Undertaker, and of course, saying yet again, if Triple H doesn't, win, he dies, and if the Undertaker, loses, he dies and stuff like that, like he's been mentioning as of late. And, it's a good promo, and, it's going to be very interesting to see, to have Triple H and The Undertaker face to face, and maybe we'll get more explanation before the final Raw, of the road to WrestleMania. So that should be definitely an interesting one. So that's what basically happened there with that one. Alright, getting into the first matchup of the night, it was a non-title matchup. We had Sheamus taking on Bourne here. And, with this one, what we did get to see here in this match, the knee strikes, the chops, chop-like thing that, Sheamus does, the high kick, even the shooting star press, which was actually missed, when Sheamus rolled out of the way, so that was pretty sick there. And then we get to see the bro kick right after that, and Sheamus actually getting the win in this non-title matchup. And right after that, we did get to see Bryan Danielson come out and basically issue his rematch clause at WrestleMania. And so it's going to be, yes, finally, Daniel Bryan against Sheamus for the United States Championship. So that should be a good matchup to see at WrestleMania, and I'm actually looking forward for that, even though, that matchup and build has been, going on, for this 2 weeks. Alright, right after that, we did have another non-title matchup. We had Eve taking on Maryse. This match, was alright. Nothing really too much special going on in this match. Maryse trying to take it to Eve, and, basically in a way saying, I guess, she wants the, Divas Championship, I guess. I guess you could say that. But anyway, what we did get to see, just the slaps here, to the face. Also a takedown, the Irish whip, the crossbody, and, kind of the steady moonsault there. And in the end, Eve gets a swinging neck breaker to Maryse, and that's what actually helps her. And, Eve getting the win there. And right after that, of course, Michael Cole again, it really ticked off about the Divas, basically interrupt him before he's gonna, say something about, the King. So right after that, that's what basically happened with that. Alright, then we get into more of this Cole and King build-up. Basically, Michael Cole getting a lot of heat, actually, at the top of the show. Actually, coming out dressed as, good old JR, which I actually thought it was JR for a moment there, but, Cole drawing some heat with that. Also, going into, the King's, family album and calling, his whole family cowards and losers and stuff like that. Just really getting under, the King's skin there. And eventually, the King had enough, went to attack him, but Jack Swagger, took the King out basically. And again, we saw the ankle lock, and Cole using the ankle lock too, as well, sending a message to the King to just stay down and tap out and all that stuff. So yeah, Cole is really asking for a stunner or something. So he's gonna get what's coming to him, I'm sure, at WrestleMania. Alright, getting into another non-title matchup, and this one was against the Core, taking on Santino and Vladimir Kozlov. And this was pretty good for what it was worth, and in the end, the Core gets up with the win on this one. And right after that, Kane and the Big Show come out pretty pissed off at, what happened to them on SmackDown after the Core, just really taking them out, and basically doing the same thing in the way what the Core did to them. And it looks like this matchup is going to happen at WrestleMania. I was actually expecting for Diesel to come out, but that didn't happen. And in a way, Santino and Kozlov were pretty happy about Big Show and Kane, coming out and taking out the Core. So it looks like this matchup is gonna happen at WrestleMania, but there is still no final word on that so far. So that's what it looks like it's gonna happen with that. Alright, then we get into another match here with John Morrison and The Miz, and this was actually, going good. And then there was sadly changed into a 4-on-2 handicap matchup, and with this one we had Trish Stratus and John Morrison taking on Dolph Ziggler and Lake Cool, and I believe Vicky Guerrero was involved too as well. So sadly it was changed to that, but it ended up being not too bad. We see some things from Trish Stratus here, trying to take out Lake Cool. We see the takedown, the neck breaker, the high elbow and the headlock as well in this match. But in the end, Dolph Ziggler does get the zigzag, and his team actually gets the win there. So it was good for what it was worth, even though it was changed into handicap intergender matchup. Alright, right after that, we were supposed to get a WrestleMania rematch from WrestleMania 22, of course, with the WrestleMania Rewind night, just for this night anyway. It was supposed to be Randy Orton taking on Rey Mysterio, which didn't really seem like a WrestleMania rematch, since, of course, sadly, Kurt Angle's in TNA, and he is a part of that triple threat at WrestleMania 22. But, for what it was worth, it's going pretty well. With this match, we saw the Steelers Senton, the Scoop Slam, and, a couple of kicks here and there, and Randy Orton getting the DDT. But CM Punk ended up distracting Randy Orton and, going after basically his family, which was on the bus, and, distracting him and taking him out too as well before WrestleMania. So CM Punk getting payback after, Randy Orton taking out each and every member of the Nexus. So that's what basically happened with that. Alright, well, getting into the final part for Raw, before it came to a close, we had Miz basically making Miz history, as he was, mentioning throughout the night, and that basically said he has more talent than The Rock and Cena combined. And, what I thought anyway, where Miz looks like he was going to reveal a new championship, but he basically just, changed the championship a little bit, and, turning the WWE logo, upside down, so where it shows M, so basically showing, Mike Mizanin and his, name basically, and basically calling it his own, and just, refixing it in a way there. Then we have, John Cena basically saying that he wasn't in this home, but, WWE is his home, and, he doesn't, bring its satellite, and basically going out to get some payback on The Miz, and that's what basically happens with that. Alright, then John Cena basically goes to take out, A-Rod there, and gives him the STF and sending The Miz, a message basically saying, he doesn't, like I said, bring it via satellite, but he actually, brings it, and that's what basically came to a close to, Monday Night Raw last night. And overall, it was a pretty good show. Like I said, nothing really in the way of big surprises like we have been seeing so far as the road to WrestleMania, slowly comes to an end. Of course, next week we are expected to see finally The Rock and John Cena, possibly even face to face, with a stare-down maybe. Also, we got WrestleMania Rewind night, so that should be good as well. So yeah, let me know what you guys thoughts are, and what you liked about the show, what you didn't like about it, and what are you looking forward to the final road to WrestleMania. And that about does it for this audio video, and as always, I will talk to you guys later on.